Hello and welcome to the BYU Family History Library webinar series. We're glad you could join us today. I'm Bryant and I'll be your host for this webinar. Please make sure your microphones and web cameras are disabled during the presentation to provide for a smooth recording. If you have technical difficulties during the webinar, please use the chat box and I can address your concerns. You are welcome to use the chat box during the webinar for comments and insights. However, all questions will be addressed at the end of the presentation. Our next webinar is on June 10th, and that'll be Duplicates in Family Tree Part 1, Why They're There and How to Find Them with Catherine Grant. And that'll be Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. If you'd like to access a previous webinar, please visit our webinar index on our website or search on our YouTube channel. All of our webinars are recorded and uploaded by the following Monday for your convenience. We also post links to recordings and other updates on our Facebook and Twitter accounts. For today's webinar, we are pleased to hear from Amber Oldenburg, who will be giving a presentation on how to use the FamilySearch Wiki and Catalog. Amber Oldenburg is a genealogist and lecturer with a degree in family history research from Brigham Young University, Idaho. She is the Central Director for the Indiana Genealogical Society and Vice President of the Indiana chapter of the Palatines to America. She also serves on the board for the Indiana chapter of the Association of Professional Genealogists. She specializes in United States Midwest research and is currently working toward accreditation in the Great Lakes region. And if Amber is ready, then we'll turn the time over to her.
Thank you. I will get my screen going here. Thank you for having me. I'm really thrilled to be here tonight. It's a little different for me. I'm not used to giving webinars. Usually I'm in front of a crowd of people and I can see your faces and just get an idea of how you feel about the presentation. So it was a little bit different tonight, but thank you again for being here. Tonight we're going to talk about one of my favorite things, which is the FamilySearch Wiki and Catalog. Again, if I was in front of you, I would ask you all to raise your hands if you've used the wiki or the catalog before, and for the most part, nobody raises their hands because it's so underutilized and it just shocks me to no end that people aren't familiar with it. And so I hope that after tonight's presentation, you will love it as much as I do and you will use it as frequently as I do. So I have a few questions here. I have an ancestor from Hancock County, Georgia, and I need their birth record dating from the year 1800. Is this record available? Do you know that offhand? I know I don't know it offhand, but so where do I go to find that answer? Second question, what land records are available for Newfoundland and Labrador, Canada, and how do I access them? Where do I go to find the answers? The answers to these questions and many more can all be found in the FamilySearch Wiki and Catalog. The FamilySearch Wiki is a tool for finding information about subjects, records that may have been generated about your ancestors, and the places in which those records might be found. It's a vast information depository. It's very similar to the Wikipedia that you are used to accessing when you're searching for like a historical event or you're researching a different country or something just to understand their history. But this one is related to family history research. The wiki contains over information from 244 countries, territories, and islands. And just recently, they published their 93,000 article. It's like a little bit over that now, but it's in 10 different languages. This has all been done in the last 12 years because the wiki began in 2008. So there's just an incredible amount of information out there. It is important, though, to recognize that on the wiki, you're not going to find information related to your ancestors specifically. You're not going to be able to go on there and type in their name and find something related to them like a record. Instead, you will find information about that region or location where your ancestor may have lived, as well as information and links to records that may pertain to your ancestor. So when you're beginning your FamilySearch Wiki adventure, you want to think about three things. So first, think about what you want to find out about your ancestor and be really specific about that. Are you searching for a place of origin? Do you want to know the date of someone's birth or their marriage? Second, consider the location where that event might have happened. And the more you can narrow down your search, the more successful you'll be. And third, think about what specific records would contain that information. So if you're looking for a marriage date, are you going to be looking for a marriage record or a church record? As a professional genealogist, I always start any research project with a stop at the FamilySearch Wiki. I will never, ever know everything there is about a specific location or record group. The wiki will help me understand the location I'll be researching in and the records that are and are not available. It even points me in the direction of where these records are located, whether that's on Ancestry or FamilySearch or any number of other repositories. When I was a student at BYU, Idaho, if we started our research projects and we turned in our research logs and we did not show that we had done research at the wiki in the beginning, we would lose points. So it's been drilled into my head to always start at the wiki. And even if I encounter a new record that I'm not familiar with or a new location, I go back to the wiki to do some research. So to access the wiki, we begin by visiting FamilySearch.org. So it's www.familysearch.org. You do not need to have a FamilySearch account to research the wiki. If you want to access records that the wiki takes you to that are in FamilySearch, you will need to have an account, and they are free, so I recommend just signing up for a free FamilySearch account. But on the FamilySearch homepage, we have different tabs up there. We see the search tab. If you click on that, you scroll down, you can see the research wiki right there. I have a red arrow pointing at it. Once we click on that, this is the landing page that we see. So I did recently hear that they are revamping the wiki. So the homepage will not look like this. I'm not sure when the changes are happening, but they are coming at some point. But you should still be able to easily navigate that. So we have 3 different ways that we can start our search on the wiki. We see right there on the right-hand side, I have an arrow there. There's one on the left-hand side, and we also have a clickable map. I tend to use the search bars because I know what I'm looking for. So if I was searching for California, a county in California, I could just type that in there and easily get it. If I were to click on the map, so I'm clicking on North America, this is what will be brought up. I have another map here on the left side that is also clickable. So I could click on the United States, I could click on Mexico, Canada, or I could use the blue hyperlinks, which are on the right-hand side. Those hyperlinks will open a new page in the wiki. So if I were to click on United States, this is the United States genealogy homepage. This is what the pages tend to look like for every country, even for states. So we'll see that we have some basic information about United States, and then we have getting started with United States research. These are really great help if you are not familiar with that. So like you were searching in Italy and you were on their homepage, they would have getting started pages that would help you understand how to research there. We have United States research tools. So we see a record finder. We have a United States county boundary changes map. That's really helpful because jurisdictions change over time. And so it's really important to understand how that happens. A little bit farther below that, we see United States online records. If we were to click on that, that would take us to a list of databases that pertain to United States records. And we could just go and search right there. I like to pay attention on this page on the right-hand side where we have our record types. That's under the United States Wiki topics. So if we were researching in naturalization and citizenship, if we needed that kind of information, we would click on that and we would get information about naturalization and citizenship in the United States. If we scroll farther down the page, we get some more information on our topics. So we have United States with background information. So we have history, maps, migration. We have information on local research resources, so archives and libraries. So if we wanted to understand the National Archives, we could click there and get some information. On the left side, we have a clickable map of the United States. So if I wanted to research New Mexico, I could quickly click on New Mexico and it would take me there. Or I could go down and they have them, all the states alphabetized as hyperlinks. I could click on one of those and be directed to that page. For this example, I decided to use Indiana since this is where I'm currently living. So this is the Indiana genealogy homepage. Again, we get some basic information about Indiana. We see that there are 92 counties in Indiana. We have our getting started. So if I was researching between 1850 and 1900 and I was new to Indiana research, that is exactly where I'm going to go first, because it's going to explain to me the methodology for researching during that time frame in this state. We also have the Indiana Online Records link right there. So again, that's going to take us to databases related to Indiana specific records. So it'll be different than the one for the United States. Scrolling this will be on the right hand side, but I cut it off to make it so you can see it better. So this is like, we have our record types, the same record types that you were seeing for United States, except for when I click on naturalization and citizenship here, it's going to be directly related to Indiana. Farther down, we have a map of the Indiana, all 92 counties. I live here and I do not know where all these counties were. So if I was looking for Tipton County, I could sit here and search forever on the map, or I could scroll farther down. And again, I have the alphabetized counties. I can click on Tipton and I'm at their page. So this is the Tipton County page. So you see we've gotten more focus. We went from United States to Indiana, and now we're in a county. County pages look a little bit different than state and country pages, where we have contents on the left-hand side and some basic information just on the right. We see when the county was founded, what the county seat is. More importantly, we have the address to the county courthouse, and we have a hyperlink that will take us to their website. So it's a little arrow that points to the right. That indicates that when I click on that, it's going to open a new tab in my browser. So then I can look at that, but then still have the wiki opened in a separate tab. But that's good to know, because if you need to, get information from the courthouse, what are their hours, what records they have on hand, you can easily get to that. So the content side is also like those topics. So this is pertaining now to Tipton County. So if I wanted to understand cemeteries or any gazetteers that they may have related to Tipton County, I'm going to go there and click. So I can scroll down and I see that I have more information. I will say that not every one of these topics will have information on them. The wiki is just like Wikipedia. People contribute information to it. So sometimes no one has contributed, or there might not be any information for that county on, archives or on newspapers. Might not be any newspapers. So if you were really familiar with Tipton County and you see that there's a database full of pictures related to Tipton County and it's not included on the wiki, you can become a contributor and write and add to the wiki, which I think is a wonderful thing to do. So if you're really familiar with a record set or an area, please contribute to the wiki, because it just adds more information for us to use. My favorite part of county wiki pages are these historical facts tables. These give us the dates when major records began to be kept in these counties. This helps us be a more efficient researcher, because if we know that the individual we are researching was born in 1880 in Tipton County, I'm not going to find a birth record, because there is not one, because they didn't start keeping them until 1882. Just like they didn't keep marriage records until 1844. But that little asterisk indicates that there might be some more information. So I'm going to go to the actual vital records section of the Tipton County page and read a little bit more in depth about this. But at least I know probate records began in 1850, land records 1844. So I always recommend whatever county you are researching in the United States, you pay attention to this table. Keep in mind that the sidebar on the left and right contains topics for record types and research strategies. Anything blue is a hyperlink and will lead you to another page. And don't be afraid to explore. Please go have a rabbit hole moment. Go in there and have fun. Just go from page to page and just see what you find, because there's so many interesting things on there. I know I find new pages every time I'm on there researching. So have fun with it. You can always start over again from the beginning. You won't break it, I promise. You really will have fun once you get in there. So are you ready to explore the wiki? I know I'm ready to show you some of my really favorite pages and how I get the most out of the wiki. So I have some more questions. This one is, how do I learn about United States Census records? Well, as a family historian, we tend to use census records a lot. But if you're brand new, you probably don't know a lot about the census records. So the wiki will help us. We begin on the United States page. From here, we can go to the record types. We see census. We click on census and it brings us right to this page. And I love that it has a beginner's corner. This is perfect, again, for that novice researcher, someone who's not familiar with census records. These are going to be wiki pages that are going to help you understand how to research in these records, what time periods they cover, what can I find, where can I access them, and they even give you search strategies. This is just a great resource. I love the topics that we have on the left-hand side. My favorite one is the blank forms. I think if you're going to be spending a lot of time in census records, if you don't know all the questions that the enumerator asks these individuals, the blank forms give you those questions so you can easily see them and you can analyze your census records a lot easier. We have key US Census Index and images internet links. So these links are going to take you right away to databases so you can begin searching in the census records. Excuse me. I will say that if you see the dollar sign, which we see that next to fold 3, that indicates that it's a subscription-based website, so you have to be a member to be able to search there. But you can see that you can access them through FamilySearch, and they'll be free. These are some more of those census topics that they cover. So you can learn about territorial census. You can learn about the non-population schedules, which are really fun to look at, the agriculture schedules. I love looking at those. We can scroll farther down, and if we wanted to learn, say, about the very first census, which occurred in 1790, I can click on that, and I'm going to get information related directly to that. So again, the wiki is making it very easy for me to get to a very specific information. My next question, I need to write to a French archive to request documents. What should I include in my letter? I get asked this a lot because I have to ask for records from foreign archives quite often. I had to even do it when I was in school. I don't speak French. I did not use Google Translate to write my email because Google Translate works well for, like, if you're doing like one word or like a short phrase, but not a letter. You send this out using Google Translate and you may not get a response because they may not be able to understand it. The wiki will help you write a beautiful query to a repository. So if we start at the France genealogy page, under France research tools, we see that we have the French letter writing guide. Now this is available for other foreign countries. So if you were in Italy or Germany, which I'll show you that in a second, Spain, anywhere that has a foreign language, they will have a letter writing guide to help you do this. So this is the contents for that. And we can see if I was writing to a civil registration office, I would just go right away, click on that 5.5, and it would take me directly to there. But this is if I was writing to a provincial archive. I can see right here in this table on the left-hand side, I have the English version and then the translation right there in French. So I can cut and paste and compose my email within minutes so that they are getting a very specific, correct request. And they're more likely going to respond to that because they understand what I'm asking for. This is a picture from some of the German letter writing guides. So again, we see it in English, and then we have it right there in German. Again, easy to cut and paste. So I highly recommend that you keep this in mind if you have to write a foreign archive, because this will be a great help for you. So my ancestor was baptized in Whitestone Parish, Somerset, England. What parish records are available online? I have found myself researching a lot in England. I'm not sure about you. I'm sure a lot of you have probably researched there. And at some point, you're going to have to get into church records. So this is a really great resource to know what records are available. So I did a little bit of cheating. I just went right to the Somerset, England page here. So you can get to it, again, by clicking on that map on Europe and then getting to England and then going to Somerset County. Or you could just type in Somerset, England in the search box, and it will bring you to this page. So I have my contents again on the left-hand side, and I see number 2, which is parishes. That's where I want to go. I click there, and I have the alphabet here. So I know I need W. I click on W, and it brings me right to the bottom, and then I click on the parish that I need. And this is their page. So again, we're very specific because we were in England, then we were in Somerset County, then we were in the parishes, and now we're in Whitestone. And I can see now that I have my church records right there on the left-hand side, 2.2. Again, I get some background information you can see here, which I love. So you can see that parish registers They say they began in 1678. Bishop transcripts began in 1607. But then we go here, see that they have some older records available online. So this table tells me what records are available for what time frame and exactly what online repository to visit to access these records. So there's a key up top for FS is FamilySearch, FREG is FreeReg. These are all free sites. And again, they have that arrow that points to the right. So it's going to open a separate tab for me to be able to immediately get into that database and start researching. We see Ancestry right there, ANC. That's a subscription site. So you see that little $sign, that means you have to pay there. But if I wanted to look up the FamilySearch baptisms from 1538 to 1975, I click on that and right away I'm in there researching. So this is available for all of those counties in England and for those parishes. So go and explore and see what you can find. My next question is, in Shelby County, Illinois, when did an event occur that affects the availability of records? There will be a time, I'm sure, where you're going to encounter record destruction, whether that has happened from a courthouse fire, a flood, a tornado, from war. Numerous things can cause record destruction. And it's important to understand that in that locality that you're researching in, because again, you don't want to be looking for a record that may not be in existence any longer, because they didn't always recreate every record. So the wiki will help us understand if there has been record loss in an area. So I'm quickly showing you the research or the search bar here in FamilySearch to show you how it auto-fills when you start typing. So I started typing Shelby and it automatically starts bringing me counties in the United States. And I can see Illinois. I click there and right below is the Shelby County, Illinois page. On the left-hand side, again, we have our contents and I can see number 5 is for record loss. I click on that, it brings me right to that part of the page and I see right here, in 1894, a fire burned the courthouse on the 17th of November and destroyed or damaged some records. This page isn't very specific about what records were destroyed or damaged. Some pages are more specific depending on where you're researching and what has been contributed. So in this case, I would have to contact the Shelby County Courthouse or visit their website to get more information, which I can do that directly from this wiki page. If I scroll back up, they have the link that takes me directly to their website. All right, was there civil registration required in Germany? Civil registration are records that you're going to be looking at when you're overseas, because these are birth, marriages, and death. But these were created by the government at a governmental level. And so you will be looking at these. They're very important to look at, but you have to understand when civil registration began in areas, again, because you want to know if you're looking for a record that exists. So we see here on the civil registration page for Germany that civil registration began in 1792 and 1876, depending on the locality. This highlights the importance of doing locality research, because depending on where your ancestor was living at what time, they may or may not have civil registration until after 1876. But if they had been living in Alsace-Lorraine in 1792, there's birth, marriage, and death records for them. So keep that in mind when you're doing research. Again, that's why it's so important to look at the wiki and understand the locality that you are researching in, because you'll be a more effective and efficient researcher. My Swedish ancestor's baptism is recorded as occurring on Judica 1782. What was the actual date using the Gregorian calendar? Again, you get overseas, you're going to find records that they recorded the dates on either movable feast days or fixed feast days. And you want to be able to translate that into an actual date. The wiki helps us do that. So if I begin at the Sweden genealogy homepage, and one of the topics are feast days, I click on that, and then I get this page, which gives me some information and talks about the Gregorian calendar, when that began being kept. You know, so if it was prior to 1753, they were using the Julian calendar. So that's also some important things that you need to understand when you're doing research overseas. But we know this was in 1782, so it's the Gregorian calendar. I scroll down and I have all of my years here. So I see 1782. I click 1782 and then I have them in in order for their dates, and I see Utica at the very bottom occurred on the 17th of March. So this person's date of birth was the 17th of March, 1782. So I've converted that date from a movable feast day to an actual date. What key words am I likely to find in Spanish genealogical records? Again, this is something that I get asked quite frequently. How do you do research in Spanish or German records or French records and you don't speak the languages? It's because I use the wiki, because the wiki has those key words that I'm going to find in records. If I'm looking at a baptism record or even a marriage record, they tend to be worded the same all the time. So if I'm recognizing those keywords and I can pull those keywords out and I translate them, I'm able to decipher that record and understand what that record is saying to me. So if I go to Spain's genealogy page, I have under their research tools a word list. So we have a Spanish genealogical word list, we have a Latin one. Again, we see that Spanish letter writing guide there. These word lists are available if I was on the France page, if I'm German, Italy, Sweden. So this is available for all of those areas. But I look here and I see on the English, or on the left-hand side, I have the words in English and then the translation in Spanish on the side. So if I'm looking and I see baptismo, okay, that's a baptismal record. I see padre, okay, that's dad, madre, mom. I'm recognizing those words. But what if I'm looking at a word and I don't quite know what it's saying, and I can, okay, it starts with an A. I can go to this part of the wiki page where they have the Spanish words on the left-hand side and their English translation on the right. So if I see like A and then B, okay, I'm recognizing B, and I see the U, I can start to decipher that word. Oh, it's a abuelo for grandfather. I can then piece that record together. Again, this is farther down. You can see again, it's just more words. There's so many of them on there. This is the Latin. This is a section from the Latin word list. Latin, you're most likely going to encounter records that are in Latin, church records. I find them still here in the United States. So it's important to be able to how to access a word list so that you can decipher those records. And again, the wiki is providing that information for us. This is probably my favorite thing to introduce people to on the wiki. I think it's, if you're going to walk away tonight understanding one thing, I hope it's this. So I'll just start with the question. You want to locate the maiden name of an ancestor that lived in England in 1855. What records would you search first? So we begin on the England genealogy page, and under research tools, we see the England record finder. It's also on the left-hand side under topics, under beginning research, on record finder. And again, this is available not just for England, it's available for states, it's all other countries. So the United States, I can find it for Canada, Mexico, Argentina if I was researching there. So this is what happens when I click on the record finder. I get a table. On in column 1 is my objective or my goal. What is it that I want to know? Column 2 are the records that I want to try first in the correct order that I want to try them in. Column 3 are the records that I would go to if I was unsuccessful looking in the records from column 2. Now again, these aren't, when I click on these, it's not going to take me to a database to search. It's going to take me to the wiki page that's going to explain that record group to me, and then I can go search the database. So again, we're looking for a maiden name. Right here, it says the very first thing we need to stop at is civil registration. Again, this is England, just like Germany, civil registrations are birth, marriage, and death records. If for some reason I can't find it in civil registration, I would then move on to church records, followed by obituaries, newspapers, and cemeteries. So what this has given you is a research plan. Every family historian, whether professional or hobbyist, should have, every time they do research, they should go into it with a research plan, a clear objective. So locate a maiden name and then your research plan so that you can just follow through with your research in a very organized, efficient way. So this is a section from the United States, so you can see it's very similar, their record finder, except for instead of saying civil registration, we have vital records. But if I were to look for like an immigration date, it tells me I'm going to go look at immigration and immigration first, followed by naturalization and citizenship. Then I'm going to go into census records, biography, and then history. Here's some more from the United States page. And again, Indiana has one of these, and it's very similar to what the United States looks like because the records are still fairly the same. But it's always worth looking at that record finder for whatever location you're researching in. A couple new features that they've added to the wiki recently, I wanted to highlight. One of them is the guided research. You can access this from the home page. It's on the left-hand side where that arrow is pointing, or just below the map, and I have that circled. This is the map. When you click on guided research, we see anything that's in green, they have guided research experience available. So what FamilySearch has gone and done is they have looked at all the records for a particular area, and they point you to the database that's going to be, you should be the most successful in for an area. So I chose Oklahoma. So it says FamilySearch identified the most complete online indexes for birth, marriage, and death information. So if I needed a birth record out of Oklahoma, this is the record they want me to go to. The 1908-1968 Oklahoma Birth Index, and that's available through the Oklahoma State Department of Health. If for some reason I'm unsuccessful locating any information in there, they give me other resources. So try this, and then substitute records, ways to improve my search, understand why the record may not exist. But they're giving me all of this information in one place. After I find birth information, if I need to move down to marriages, they tell me exactly where to go, which is in Find My Past. If I don't find it there, then I'm going to a collection in FamilySearch. But so this guided research is a new valuable tool, and I think it's just so amazing that they've made this available. They've done a lot of the legwork and made it a lot easier for you to do your research. The last thing I wanted to show you in the wiki is the page for the FamilySearch genealogy research groups. These are new and super fun and exciting. I'm a member of the German research group because I tend to do research in Germany, and I love that it's like this huge discussion board, really, where you can go, you can present a query, and everyone will come and help answer it. Say if you're looking at a record and you can't decipher some of that handwriting, well, you can post it in that page, and you're going to have people that are going to look at it and help you. It's great. It's a wonderful resource. So I recommend you visit the research group wiki page. Look for a group that is related to the research that you're doing the most. You know, if you're spending a lot of time in doing French genealogy research, go to that, become a member of that group. There's one for Russian. There's so many different groups that you could become a part of. So I recommend checking that out too. Okay, now I'm going to briefly talk about the catalog. I think this might actually be the most underutilized part of FamilySearch because people just don't realize that it's here. So the catalog is a guide to birth, marriage, and death records, census records, church records, just an immense amount of records are available on here. So they could be searchable, they could be viewed digitally online through microfilm, microfiche, they could be in a book or a computer file. I will highlight that some of the images, if they're available on FamilySearch, if you can look at it, they'll have a camera. You might see another icon, which I'm going to show you in just a second, but I want to get you to the FamilySearch catalog. If you want to look at the records on the FamilySearch catalog, you do need to have a FamilySearch account. And also, if you want to be a part of the research group, you need to have an account too. So there's another reason why you should just get your free account from FamilySearch. But from the home page, we click on search and we scroll down to catalog. And this is the page that we get when we get there. It shows us all the different ways that we can search. So we can search by place name, surname, titles, authors, subjects, keywords, call numbers, microfilm numbers, and even by family history centers. I find that I do most of my searching by place name, which is it's like a locality search. So when you begin your search for a place, keep in mind that you're searching from the largest jurisdiction to the smallest. So you're starting with your country, then you're going to your state, your county, your parish, what have you. So largest to smallest. You can search by microfilm number. So if you've encountered, whether it be in a citation, you see a family history library number, which is a microfilm number, you can access that by typing that number into the film/feast number search, and be able to access the record this way. So this film number 512453 led me to records of deeds from Steuben County, New York from 1796 to 1960. When I click on this record collection, I see that there are 170 films, and you can see my microfilm numbers in there. It's just probably farther down. But what I wanted to point out is that red arrows pointing, again, we've seen that camera. That camera indicates the record is there digitized, that film is digitized, and I can watch it, or I mean, not watch it, excuse me, I can view it from home anytime I want. So whether that's 2 o'clock in the morning in my pajamas, I can be looking at these records, which I love. So I don't have to go to Steuben County, New York's courthouse to look at the records. I can do it at home. Makes it a lot easier. However, there are records that are unavailable to me at home. German church records are a perfect example of this. So I just pulled up a random place. I pulled up Hanover, Germany. Went to go look at some church records here. And I see right here, I have my camera with the key over it. That's telling me that I have to be at a family history affiliate or FamilySearch affiliate library or a family history center in a Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints church building to be able to access that record. Sometimes then I've encountered this, I haven't, but I have other friends that have encountered it in German records where it says to view the records, you must be a member of the church to access them. If that's the case and you are not a member, you can go to a family history center to view the records. But to find a FamilySearch affiliate library in your area, you would visit the wiki, the left-hand side of the page, and we see FS for FamilySearch affiliate libraries. You click there and you decide what area of the world you're in. So I chose United States, and I chose Utah because Utah doesn't have a lot of affiliate libraries because, well, mainly they have the largest family history library there already, but there are tons and tons of church family history centers available. So, but we can see here in St. George, the Washington County Library System is an affiliate library. If I was in Salt Lake City, I would visit the National Society of the Sons of Utah Pioneers. Here, near Indianapolis, where I live, there are like 4 different affiliate libraries all around, so they're pretty accessible for me if I need to get to one of those. But that's how you're going to access those records if they have a key over them. So I wanted to show you what the catalog really looks like if we were to go into it. So I'm showing you for what records are available for Hendricks County, Indiana. When I pull up Hendricks County, Indiana, this is the first bit that I see. Get a little bit of information about the county. I see that it was created in 1823 from unorganized territory in Putnam County. That's really valuable information because sometimes maybe records pertaining to my ancestors are going to be in Putnam County, depending on what time frame. But I can see I have my different record groups here. I can scroll down. I see probate records. That's usually where I go when I'm in the catalog where I'm looking at land and property records or tax records, things like that. But I wanted to show you the probate records. There are 6 different collections for probate records for Hendricks County. This will book right here opens up a film that has 875 images. But as you can see, I can look at this microfilm from home. I can page through it. I can zoom in. I pulled up a specific one right here. So this is image 26 out of those 875. On the left-hand side, you see I have the plus and minus. That means it's going to allow me to zoom in and zoom out. I have tools over on the right-hand side that will let me manipulate the image. If, say, I needed to make it brighter or darker, I can download this image and save this to my computer. I can print it. I have encountered 2 in the catalog previously, records that I can view, so I can view that microfilm, but I cannot download it. And that just has to do with whatever agreement the original owner of those records has with FamilySearch and what accessibility they offer. So this was in Louisiana. I was looking at death records. I could not download that record. I could take a screenshot of it if I wanted to, but I wanted a better image of it, so I had to actually reach out to a researcher in Louisiana to get me the original. But if this record pertained to someone that was in my FamilySearch family tree, I could directly attach it right there with that blue button to my tree. So that makes it really easy to keep your records and source them. I want to note that you will find when you're looking at films that you will see this, it says item 4. I have that circled right here. The ones above see item 2. What that means is that it's a different section of the microfilm. So I'm going to show you how to determine that. So this microfilm I opened up, we're on image 1 of 453, and I can see right there 1. That's indicating that's item 1. So I'd have to scroll through the microfilm until I get to item 4, which you can see right here, the red arrow is pointing at that. So that's where that record set is starting that I wanted to look at. It's an item 4. So that's how you find that. My name is Schroeder, or my surname is Schroeder. What resources are available related to this name? So FamilySearch, the catalog has so many books that people have submitted for their family history. Anything that's been written, even if it's a professional has written it, they've submitted them, and they're available either at the Family History Library or they've been digitized and available in the catalog, which is a really great resource, because if you're doing some research on like a new family line, maybe someone else has already done research or a little bit of research on that, and they've published something about that. It makes sense to go look and see what's available so that you're not repeating work that maybe has already been done. You can go into the catalog and search for your surname. So I just typed in my surname, and I see that it gave me 194 results. So I can go through this and see maybe which ones pertain to this. Like, so if I had somebody in Pennsylvania, this is probably a good one for me to go look at. When I open up a book, it gives me some more information. I see that their ancestors and descendants mainly lived in Germany and Wisconsin. So if I was researching Schroeder's out of Wisconsin, this is probably a really good book for me to go look at. I can see that there's other surnames that are included in this book, so some of those might pertain to me. But what I love is that it's digitally available here. So I can click that blue here, and it gives me the book. I can view all 320 pages of it, again, from the comfort of my home in my pajamas at 2 o'clock in the morning if I so desired. So when I click on that to open up the book to see all the pages, I can page through the book individually right there on the right-hand side where that arrow is. There's a magnifying glass, which means I can search for like a name, a location, a keyword, whatever. And if that appears in that book, it's going to then give me those results, and I can quickly jump to that page. I have the ability to zoom in, zoom out, I can crop it, I can download it, I can print it, you know, pretty much anything that you can do. Again, some books may not be available for download, and that again is maybe due to copyright or whatever accessibility that the author has provided to FamilySearch. So that is all I have for the catalog and the wiki. I really hope that you have learned something new, that you are just as excited about it as I am. Again, if you were going to walk away with anything, just know, begin your research at the wiki, followed by going to the catalog. That is how that's my research process. I look at the wiki first, and then I go to the catalog to see what records are available there before I even really start going into databases, just because I want to know what's there. Again, use that record finder so you can get a great roadmap to success in your research. So that's all I have. I'm ready if you have any questions. And again, thank you so much for being here. You can always find me on social media. I love interacting with people on there. So my Twitter handle's here, my Facebook, my Instagram. There's my email if you have any questions. Thank you again for attending. And I look forward to your questions. Ready to turn it over to you, Bryant.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Amber. If anyone from the audience has any questions, then please post them in the chat box, and Amber can answer them for us. Oh, and Susan, this webinar will be uploaded to the website by Friday. All right, it looks like there aren't any questions. I guess your presentation was just that clear and that good, Amber.
That's awesome. Well, it seems like they liked it, so.
Yeah, it really does.
I'm so happy that everyone is excited about it. And again, if you have any questions, let me know, and be cheerleaders for the wiki. Share it with as many people as you know too.
Yes, of course. Well, awesome. Thanks everyone for joining us. Just like to remind you about our webinar next week on the 10th. Duplicates in Family Tree Part 1, Why They're There and How to Find Them with Catherine Grant. And that'll be at 5:30, just like this week. And be sure to join us for that. Thanks so much, and hope you have a great day.